In this tutorial, I'm going to be going through the piece Prelude in A minor by Ferdinando Carulli. First, I will play through the piece straight through, and then we can talk about ways to practice it. All right, so looking at the music, a few things stand out right away. First of all, this says cut time here, Alla Breve, which is 2-2 instead of 4-4. It's the C with the line through it. Now, this is my version. I've also seen printed versions of this in 4-4 time. This is from a book that I have, which lists it in cut time. I've also seen 4-4 time. What would the difference be? I will show you momentarily. So first of all, it's groups of 3 triplets, basically 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, if you're thinking of it in 4-4 time. If you were thinking of it in 2-4 time, 2-2 time, cut time, what does that mean? Well, that means that you're thinking of the accents as this being beat 1 and this group of 6 notes being beat 2. Let me demonstrate that for a minute. So as written in my version, Alla Breve, or cut time, that means our focus would be on these bass notes, etc., instead of every beat as if it were in 4-4 time. Does it matter? Not really for a study piece. Choose which one you like. Okay, let's move on. Basically, for the right hand, we're going to be doing the entire time thumb, index, middle, thumb, index, middle. If you use the Spanish lettering P-I-M, P-I-M. That's probably the easiest and most straightforward way to do it. So if you watch me do this, I'm doing thumb, index, middle, thumb, index, middle, thumb, index, middle, thumb, index, middle. Basically, you want to think of the left hand figures as chord shapes. Sometimes we're adding a finger, taking away a finger. There are a lot of open strings here. It can all be done in first position, which makes it a nice, easy study piece. Also, we should talk about the structure before we even play it, and that is we've got A, B, A. So this first section, which is the A section, basically ends when we modulate or change keys to C major here, and this is going to be in the 4th line, 1, 2, 3rd fret. Okay, now we play in C major for 2 lines. We have this transition measure where it goes from 8th note triplets to straight 8th notes. That's where you heard the rhythm change a little bit when I played. Basically sounds like it's slowing down, it gives that impression. And then we're back to this A section. So I would say A, B, transition, A. And that's a common form, ternary form, A, B, A. Okay, so technically, what do? Well, we talked about the right hand. With the left hand, a few pointers. Hold the fingers down like a chord let go there, add that finger. When you get to the next measure, we're leaving that first finger down on that G sharp. Then we go back to this chord. Now here's the first example where I would say students often do what seems logical but is not great for playing a piece like that. And that is, before they start playing this note, they think they have to have all these fingers down like if you were strumming and playing and you've got to move everything at once. That's exactly the opposite of what we want to do in a piece like this. It makes it much harder to play. So I'm going to play from here to here. And so I'm starting on this chord. Notice that what I'm going to do with my left hand is add as I need, instead of trying to jump them all at the same time. This is a technique you should employ throughout this piece. Again in the next measure. So I'm going from here. Instead of doing this, which even feels a little scary and uncomfortable to me, and I've been playing for a long time, this is the better way to do it. Watch my left hand. Add the fingers one at a time as you need them. So when I get to that measure, it's so much smoother and less scary, like a shift that you're trying to manage. So I recommend that throughout. There are several places where you're going to do that in this piece. Let's talk about when we change to C major here. So you'll notice that I went more toward the saddle here, the bridge. That's called Ponticello. And what that means is that it's going to give us a brighter sound instead of tasto or natural. And in a piece like this where it's pretty basic, we want to incorporate as many musical ideas and textural or timbral changes that we can to make it a little more interesting to listen to and to play, of course. So typically in a piece like this where it starts in major, you could play that darker and more quietly. Those two things often go together. And then when you get to the major section, C major here, where did we go? Here. When we modulate to C major, then that's a place where typically it's, major is a little happier sounding, so brighter and louder, playing by the bridge there. So when I do that transition, going from the fourth line, third line, A minor, I did a little slow down there, and then I went brighter there, and played a little louder. Just gives it a little interest. Now when I go on, still in major, and here's my transition measure. And then I can go back, a little quieter, a little darker tone, as I go back into the minor. Now, in this version, which is linked below this video, so you can copy this out or print it out, you'll see that it gives some fingering here in this transition measure, index, middle, that's fine, you can use that. Also, you may let go of this C when you get to this C on the second string first fret. That's why there's that half rest there, that's for this note. So remember, this stems down, adds up to 4 counts, or Alla Breve, 2 half notes, 4 counts either way. And the top line also adds up to 2 half notes or 4 quarter notes, with those eighth notes. So that rest indicates that you may stop this fifth string third fret from ringing. I'm going to play that measure just to demonstrate. So, sorry. So when I get to, gosh, come on, Eric. There it is. Right. I think I got it right in there once or twice. Okay, clearly I need to practice that measure a few times. So I think that's all there is to say about it. It has its challenges, but it's a great little piece because it works on right hand, it works on some technique with left hand, adding one finger at a time as you need from measure to measure and shape to shape. That's a great technique that you're going to use throughout your classical playing days because it comes up a lot when you have an arpeggiated form. You don't need the whole chord down at once like when you're strumming from chord to chord. And that adding a finger one at a time makes it so much smoother, legato, and effortless when you're playing it. So practice that. Also with the right hand, you've got this consistent P-I-M, P-I-M, or thumb, index, middle. You've got a cool example of A-B-A form with a little transition. That's really common in just hundreds, probably hundreds of thousands of study pieces. So keep that in mind. And then you can experiment with that timbre change or tone color change from the minor, playing it dark and quieter. And then when you transition to major, playing it a little bit louder and a little bit more toward the bridge here, Ponticello. All right. I hope you enjoy that. Have fun with this piece.